Hi, everybody. Welcome to Omnis Technologies. My name's Ryan. I'm here with our IT technician, Hunter Ford. How you doing, Hunter?
I'm doing great.
Good to see you. We're still working remote, but we're going to keep the videos coming. In this video, we're going to talk about Office 365 versus Office 2019 for business specifically. Let's start with what is Office 365 and how does it differ from the traditional Office setup if you have like Word 2019, 2016, that kind of thing.
Yep. So Office 365 is a monthly cost service through Microsoft that gives you cloud storage. It gives you support. There's constant updates coming to it, and it's not defined by a year because as long as you pay the subscription, you are getting updates from Microsoft, and it's accessible as long as you have an Office 365 license. You can have it installed on a device. You can access it through the web. There's apps for it, etc. It's very versatile compared to your normal Office install.
Yep. So when you buy it, they call it like a perpetual license. It's a one-time payment, and then it comes with Excel, Word, and PowerPoint, and then you don't get any new features. Whereas in the subscription one, you pay monthly, but you're getting new features every month.
Mm-hmm. Getting new features, and you're getting support if, let's say, they implement an update and there's an issue, you can reach out to support and kind of get some help with it, sort of thing. Or if you just have general questions, they're always there to help. They have 24/7 support.
And depending on the tier you get, you will be able to use web-based apps and download the desktop apps.
For if you have the business plan, you get to download, like, the way it works is you get 5 installs of it. So you can install it on up to 5 devices. And then you have access to the web-based version and the app version. The web-based version is technically free for everyone, but
Oh, okay.
you can connect it to a business account, obviously. Like if you log in using your OneDrive for Business email.
Speaking of email, good segue. What's the benefits of hosting your email on Office 365 through Microsoft versus having an in-house hosting service or another third-party email hosting?
What's really nice about it is I've worked a lot with in-house mail servers in just my few years of doing IT, and they can be a real pain. And the process of setting up, let's say someone wants email on their phone, it's usually kind of a pain, or it's a complex solution to get email set up on a phone using an in-house solution.
That comes in like MAC addresses and ports and
basically,
that
you have to do
craziness.
you have to have your in-house solution has to have some way of, like, on your server, you have to set it up so that it can contact the internet basically, and so it can interface with whatever app that person's using. Office, obviously, with Outlook through Office 365, they're still doing that same thing, but they're taking care of all of it. It's all on Microsoft. They have basically like a 99.99% guaranteed that your software will work at all times. They have all kinds of backup solutions and backup servers, and if you want a solution where, as long as you have internet, which you kind of need for email anyways, they are very, I have not seen Outlook go down in years through Office 365. It's a very solid solution. They have a lot of resources for phishing and stuff like that. You can report phishing emails directly to Microsoft, and then that helps their filter that they use for Outlook. And then what's also nice is with Outlook through Office 365, you can they have all kinds of features for like email groups and stuff like that, and it just takes a lot of hassle out of your email solution. I would say you don't have to deal with having a server set up. You don't have to pay the yearly cost or the upgrade cost to keep a server going on your network. And even with a web-based solution that's not Office 365, it can still be kind of wonky to set up like email access through apps and stuff. Office
Yep.
365, you install Outlook on your phone, you put in your work email, and it knows it connects immediately.
Yeah, that definitely sounds worth it just to have everything under one roof.
It's a solution that covers a lot.
Okay. And speaking of coverage, let's talk about the major differences between operating the Office cloud apps versus the locally installed ones.
Yeah. So locally installed apps, they're fully functional. They have all the functionality basically available for Office applications, or the online apps have a large percentage of the functionality, but they're missing some. It's not key functionality, so you can
Yep.
I've seen a lot of people work solely through the web-based portion and get by, and it works fine. But there are functions not available through that. Same with the phone app. I believe there are some functions that aren't available compared to the desktop app. Uh, but that's kind of, I think people will understand that, since a fully installed functioning app is going to be more robust and functional
Yep.
than the web-based version.
Yep. So you have to kind of consider what level you are with those Microsoft apps. If you think that you're even aware of some of the advanced functionality that you'd get in the desktop app versus the web app.
Mhm.
And if you are one of those more advanced users, you'll be able to benefit from the desktop app versions.
And what's nice about the desktop app version, let's say someone shares a file with you through the cloud, like through OneDrive, you can click that file and click to edit it through your like installed application instead of the web one. And those, if it's shared to you with editing purposes, those edits will go back to that cloud version.
Yep. So that's one of the big major advantages of using Office 365 is that collaboration and the co-authoring. And
Oh
you know,
yeah.
imagine somebody working on one slideshow or presentation, and somebody could be putting in the graphics, somebody could be putting in the text, and it could all be
It's
seamless.
Yeah, it's really nice. And what's also nice about just Office in general, they have the tool OneDrive, which when set up on a device, you can have it set up so anything you save or edit is automatically backed up to the cloud version. That way, if you need to access any of that from anywhere, you can. And if you make an edit, let's say on your phone, because someone says, hey, we need this updated on this, can you do it real quick? You could whip out
Hmm.
Word on your phone, make the edit, it pushes to the cloud version, and it also pushes to the version on your desktop.
All right. So all these fancy features, they sound really nice, but what's it actually going to cost? We
Mhm.
have some figures here for you.
Yep, I do.
All right.
So for 10, we're going on like a 10 license under the idea of like this is for like a small office, let's say. If let's say you don't want to do the monthly subscription for whatever reason, you just want the apps because you don't need the cloud functionality, it's going to still cost you a pretty large amount, just at least up front. A single license of Microsoft Office Home and Business 2019 is $250, so it's
Yep.
$2,500 for 10 users. Then for Office 365 Business, it's $8.25 per user, as if you're doing an annual commitment, so a yearly commitment.
Yep.
So it's about $82.50 for an entire for a month.
Yep.
And then there
And
is Office 365 Business Premium, which has some more advanced features, which really is for if you don't need the features of, let's say, Teams, Microsoft Teams, which is it's basically like it's similar to Slack and some of these other solutions for just instant messaging for those
yep.
in the workplace. You can do
File
team
sharing
meetings,
and yeah.
file sharing. You can do meetings through it. It has a calendar built into it. It's pretty robust. It's a little bit of a newer program though, so it's not quite as, I wouldn't say it's as good as Slack or some of these other solutions. It's still getting its feet on the ground basically.
Yep.
So with Office 365 Business Premium, that's $12.50 a user, so that's about $125 a month.
Yep. And so if we compare those, you're going to be a couple of years on 365 by the time that you're using older software. If you get the one-time fee, $2,500 up front, no new features, only like security updates, versus getting to an annual commitment, which would be about between 1,000 and 1,500 for 365. And then you're going to get all these cloud features, and it's just more upgraded modern software.
Yeah, you get a lot more that, and that's what Microsoft is trying to shift toward people towards. It is so much easy. You can see it on their website even to an extent. Like if you search for like Office, they push 365 first. Yep. But it's not completely just them saying, "Oh, we constantly want money from you." It's just for most people, the features are so nice. You can just
So let's get into what those features are for the monthly costs. So we already talked about the mobile and web-based versions. We can touch on cloud storage maybe a little bit more.
Yeah. So with each license of Office 365, so each user basically, they get their own personal OneDrive. I think it's usually 1 terabyte of storage per user, and then so they have this personal drive where they can save files and everything. What's nice is with the business plans, you can usually create a SharePoint site or like a collaborative space to save files to as well. So that, and then you can even dive further into customizing that, where you can set up security permissions. So if you don't want someone from, let's say you have an HR person, you don't want that HR person getting into some accounting information. You could have an accounting folder and you could have an HR folder so that accounting person can get in the HR stuff. And you basically put permissions so that those people can only get to their stuff on the SharePoint. But let's say the owner, needs access to everything. The owner can basically put themselves as an admin or just give themselves permission on all of the folders. You can deviate access as needed. And it works similarly to, Windows file sharing rules. So if you're used to that, where you're sharing files locally, it transfers pretty well to this cloud-based solution as well. And then you can also share files directly with other people from your OneDrive, and you can even give people edit access to those files. So it's stored in your OneDrive, but it's a collaborative file between you and someone else or multiple other people.
And then we already touched a little bit on security settings, and maybe you could talk about this customizable password policy.
Yep. So something that's really nice about Office 365 is they give you the power to kind of decide the password needs of your organization. So you can say, well, I want minimum 10 characters and it has to be a strong password, which just means it needs a combination of letters, numbers, symbols, etc. Whereas some people, personally, I don't suggest making it so that you can just set any kind of password. But maybe that's what you want for your organization for some reason. There's also the ability to say, I want users to reset their password every 6 months. It's an automatic thing. I want it every 3 months. I want it every month. You can basically set it up so it's like on that recurring basis, it forces them to set a new password. But you also have to make sure it's set that in the system they can't use the same password twice. There's a lot of functionality there that
I didn't even know it was that deep.
Yep, it's pretty common to see with these web-based solutions, especially since you are given a back end to do a lot for basically you can buy 10 licenses and you create accounts to those licenses, and then you create your security and your password policies for those accounts and everything. It's usually a blanket though. Let's say you have a generic email that multiple people use, you could set like a set password that doesn't change so that multiple people can get into it, or you can deviate like delve access and stuff. It's very
deep, lots of options, very
there's
flexible.
a lot there.
What if all this stuff goes wrong? Is there anybody there who can help you at Microsoft? How does the support work?
the support works is they have a either online chat or you can call them. Each of them works pretty well. They're both 24/7 support. What's nice about this being a cloud-based solution, and it's a solution that's, they control the back end sort of. They usually have backups for your like organization just in general. So let's say someone gets in and does some real damage to your files and everything, they can likely do a rollback to a previous version. Obviously, you need to catch it early, and you can also get a hold of them. Basically, say like, "Hey, someone gained access. Let's say someone gained access to your admin account for whatever reason. If you have the information for your account, you can basically get a hold of them and get access locked from whoever's into it, and then regain access, and then hopefully roll back everything as long as you've gotten a hold of them quick enough. Because I'm not sure the frequency and how long they keep backups, but I know they can usually do at least some sort of rollback.
So I think a benefit of using Office 365 is you don't need to be at your work computer to get things done. So maybe you can talk about that workflow a little bit and how you can get things done away from the office.
Okay. What's really nice about Office 365 is you get 5 licenses to install it. Basically, you can tie it to your work device. You can tie it to, let's say, your mobile phone, so you can have Office on your phone to be able to edit files. And then let's say you have a computer at home, and maybe you have a work laptop. That's 4 devices. So you have work desktop, work laptop, your phone, and then a personal device. You can set it up so that all of your work files can be modified from all of those devices, and any changes from any of those devices is reflected on all of them. So if you're working on something at work, but let's say in our case, coronavirus, you have to start working from home, but you don't want to have to relocate your work device. And let's say you mostly work in Office documents. When you go home and you have Office installed and you get OneDrive set up, it's the exact same setup basically. You can get everything that you had on your work device as long as OneDrive was set up correctly. And whenever you get to go back to the office, all of your changes will be already there. You won't have to do any file transfers or anything. And then let's say you're out, let's say you're just out and about and you get an email or something and something needs modified quickly, you can do it from your phone. It's immediately backed up and replicated to everywhere.
Cool, great. And then, so speaking of those shared files, how does the standalone one-time payment, how does that offer any kind of cloud capabilities, or do you only get that with 365?
I think it has some limited functionality with cloud. Like I think you can tie your license to, let's say, like an Outlook email, and you might be able to sit, because OneDrive is technically, there is a free option with some limited storage.
Mm-hmm.
So you could save it to a personal OneDrive through through that Office 2019, I believe. And then you could still share it and stuff. It's just not as robust and easy
Oh,
as the cloud version. For the most part, when you do file sharing with the one-time purchase, it's going to be done over just your normal file sharing methods on a local network, or if someone sends you an email with a file attached. With Office 365, you can edit shared documents from the cloud on your local install, and it replicates those changes all like to the cloud version. Um, it's just Office 365 has all of the functionality of the one-time purchase and just a lot more.
and a lot more. And it's the cost is less really, depending on your
Realist,
needs.
realistically, you'll see a similar. I would say the cost is similar, since at some point you're going to want to upgrade to the newest version, because Microsoft will just stop supporting your version,
Uh-huh.
and you paid that upfront cost because you didn't want the monthly cost, but you also forego so many features that you could have been using. Obviously, some people don't need them at all. I
Right.
don't think Office 365 is necessarily needed for a 2-person office or business,
Yep.
but I think you can still utilize the functions of
Especially if
Office
you're
360.
growing your business and you're going to be having more people on, it's going to be a lot faster to get them up and running with the 365 versus.
Oh, exactly. And if you ever need to do remote work, I would say
Yep.
Office 365 right away. Especially because of the 5 licenses per user thing. That's crazy to me because you can install it on so many devices and be able to work from so many devices.
Yep. Very important. All right, so that's our breakdown of Office 365 versus Office for Business 2019. Let us know if you have any more questions. You can reach us at tech support@omnistech.com. Thanks for watching.